guys, it's Jenny with Jenny Pro Realtor with jennyprorealtor.com and Presidio Real Estate Brokerage. Okay, closing costs. Let's break it down a little bit and help you understand what it takes to buy a home. So, lots of information I can give in here. Please note that every situation is going to be different and lenders can model their situations around you as well. I did a questionnaire probably about a year ago and asked people how much money do you need down to buy a home? And the answers were kind of shocking to me on how people need to understand how much this process is and what it costs and what it looks like. The majority of the people thought that you needed 20% down on a home in order to buy the home. So let's break that down. At $300,000, that means you're telling me you need $60,000 to buy a $300,000 home. Whoa. Let's slow down a little bit here. That is so far from the truth, and I want to help you understand what your costs would be if you were wanting to buy a home. So every situation is different. Now note that in order to get a loan, there's 3 things that you need to qualify for and what they base off of. First is your credit score. Second is your debt to income ratio. And when I say debt to income, I mean basically what your minimum payment is on your credit cards. So if you have a Netflix subscription, that is not a debt. If you have a monthly payment on an auto loan, that is a monthly debt. So they take the percentage of that versus what your gross income is. And then the last thing is what your gross income is. So that is pre-tax. So that is not what you filed, that is what your W-2 states. Does that make sense? The gross on the W-2, not what they took out of it. Now it's different if you're a 1099. A 1099 means you're self-employed. There's different criteria, but those 3 things are what they're based on. That credit score needs to be around a 660 and no less than that. Now with COVID-19, it changed a little bit, and they got more strict with their rules. But now we're back to having more flexibility with loans because they're feeling more secure with where our economy's at, which is good, right? So I highly recommend though that you have around a 700 credit score in order to qualify for a home. If you need more information on how to build your credit, we can talk there. I have had a lot of people where I'm helping them understand that in order to build credit, you need about 3 lines of credit, because the definition of credit means that people are willing to lend you money because they feel secure that you're going to make your payments. So you have 3 different people saying that they're willing to lend you money, it helps your credit score go up higher. Now, how to correct your credit score, also I can get you in touch with a financial advisor on what to do to help increase that. You can actually change your credit score within a 30 to 60 days minimum period if you need to jump. I know that I've had clients that have jumped from around a 660 to a 730 within 30 days, depending on how much debt they've paid down, all the logistics that go into that. Okay, if you want to learn more about credit scores, please let me know. Your debt to income ratio needs to be no less, what should I say that? No less, no more than 48%. So no more than 48%. That's still really high. That means they're willing to loan you where you have a home where you're in 48% of your income is wrapped up into that. Now, they highly recommend that you're around the 42% or lower, but they will go to 48 depending on the circumstances if your credit balances that out. So based on those 3 things, you can qualify for a loan and be able to move forward. Now again, I'm not a lender, and so we can definitely get in touch with a lender to know more about your situation and what that's going to look like. But then let's jump into what the actual fees might be in buying a home. So based on those 3 things, your lender will match you up with what the best loan is. Now the 4th thing is closing costs, right? We talked about a 20% based on based on the home that you buy. You can actually buy a home as little as no money down, okay? So closing costs, down payment can all be wrapped up into your loan based on if you qualify for it. Now there's some parameters on, you have to make a certain amount of income. If you make too much income, you don't qualify. If you make not enough income, you don't qualify. There's this parameter here, okay? And then on top of that, you also have, basically sometimes they'll have like 2 loans, where one loan is your home purchase and the other loan is your down payment and closing costs. So they do make up some money somewhere because they increase the interest rate on that second loan, but it is able to modify it around. Now, I've taken clients with this because this is a lot of information. I've taken clients and I've sat them down and I've walked them through, this is what your monthly mortgage is going to be. This is what the down payment's going to look like. This is what the closing cost is going to look like. Because as a buyer, you do have some closing costs, right? Because a lender does cost money. And depending on what lender you go to, you can be around $3,000 to about $10,000 in closing costs, which is an out-of-pocket thing, right? And then on top of that, you have the appraisal that you have to pay for, which is around $500, depending on the square footage of the home. And then you also have an inspection, which is around $500, depending on the square footage of the home, right? So if you think about it, it's roughly for like a $300,000 home to put zero down. Think about that. You only need to pay for the appraisal and for the inspection. So, and sometimes the lender will wrap up the the appraisal in as well. The inspection is 100%, what do you want to call that? It's not, shoot, I'm losing my words. Like, you don't need to do an inspection. It's a volunteered thing to do, so no one's going to cover it for you. If you don't want to do it, then you don't have to do it. But you could literally buy a home for less than $1,000 if you want to pay for an inspection. So let me know if you want to know more about that, what that looks like. Because interest rates are so low right now, I highly, highly, highly recommend you at least get educated. I do classes on this stuff. If you want to learn more, please let me know. I know I was just a fire hydrant of information for you, but there's so much more to learn about the buying process. Also the selling process too. So if you want to know more about that, let me know. But for right now, go check out my website and go find some homes on jennyporealtor.com. Have a great weekend, guys. We'll see ya.